Adam Pacitti from Cultaholic.com. It's 4 in the morning right now here in the UK. I've just watched Jeff Hardy, Glass an Innocent Man, and the pubs are reopening in about 2 hours, despite an ongoing global crisis. Anyway, don't worry about that. Let's take a look at the headlines. A top superstar's WWE in-ring career is reportedly over. We have the reason Vince McMahon pulled Shayna Baszler from WWE TV, and WWE are reportedly fining talent for not wearing masks. We'll tell you more in a bit. So we are kicking things off with some pretty sad news indeed. Reportedly, Kairi Sane is due to leave WWE imminently. There was a report earlier this week from Fightful stating that Kairi Sane's contract was pretty complicated, and it was believed that she hadn't re-signed or anything like that, but we have an update from the Wrestling Observer stating that Kairi Sane is due to leave WWE, heading back to Japan very shortly to spend more time with her husband. According to Meltzer, WWE have known about this, about her intention to leave and go back to Japan since May, and they tried to sign her to some sort of ambassadorial role, I guess to sort of keep her on the books, keep her contracted, so she wouldn't pop up elsewhere, maybe Stardom or wherever. There's been industry whispers for a while that Kairi was looking to leave, to head back to Japan and do another year of wrestling, wherever that may be, and then retire from pro wrestling for good. But it appears that her time in WWE is coming to an end. Kairi's had a really, really rough time of it on the main roster, I think it's fair to say. Injured numerous times, most recently in that match with Nia Jax, where she sustained a pretty deep cut. And the plan originally was to write her off from WWE TV in an injury angle, and then the real injury happened, so that hasn't happened. However, they might do something over the next 2 weeks on TV. So Raw taped yesterday for this coming Monday and the following Monday. So there is a chance that Kairi will be written off properly in an injury storyline. I hope it's not Nia. It's probably going to be Nia. Anyway, she's going to be written off of WWE TV for good, and that's absolutely gutting because Kairi Sane is somebody who had all the potential in the world. She's an amazing, amazing wrestler. She was great in NXT, and once again, she was called up to the main roster, and it just wasn't used properly. Woefully misused, in fact. She was thrown together with Asuka in a tag team that, while they had some great matches and everything, either of those, or both of those, in fact, should have obviously been positioned as single stars. And that didn't happen. Obviously, Asuka's doing great things now, but Kairi, whether it's injuries or not, has just been on the sidelines for some time now. So I think it's really, really sad to see. And everybody was looking forward to Kairi Sane getting a big pirate ship entrance at WrestleMania. Obviously, that couldn't have happened anyway in the end because of the Performance Center, because of coronavirus and it being at the Performance Center, rather. But that's something that we'll probably never see now, and that's sad. But what's more sad is that Kairi Sane appears to be, to not be. She's not going to be in the wrestling industry for that much longer. I hope she's happy and spending time with her husband, and continues to do great things. She's wonderful, but it's going to be one of those. It's just going to be another one, in fact, of those what if stories, isn't it? What if Kairi Sane had been booked properly? Would she have been happy? Would she have stayed in the States, continuing wrestling for WWE? Fingers crossed that we see her wrestle and have a proper retirement somewhere that really cares about Kairi Sane, because we always felt on the main roster that WWE just didn't. But yeah, thank you very much for everything that you've done in WWE. If this is goodbye from WWE, cheers for what you did, and I hope you're happy in the future. Next up, we haven't seen Shayna Baszler on WWE TV since the May 18th edition of Monday Night Raw, where she defeated Natalya. Reports suggested that Shayna was due to continue the feud with Becky Lynch, heading all the way, it's believed, up to SummerSlam. However, Becky, obviously, is pregnant and has left the WWE for a little bit to have a baby. That's wonderful. That said, we've not seen Shayna Baszler on TV for weeks now, and we have a report suggesting the reason why. And quelle surprise, it's because Vince doesn't get it. That's right, once again from the Wrestling Observer, the chairman of the WWE, not sold on the Queen of Spades, using a more MMA fighter style inside the squared circle and preferred to push other female superstars instead. There were also facets of Baszler's character which reportedly didn't check Vince's buttons on what a woman in wrestling should be. This is I'd like to say it's surprising. It's not anymore, is it? But it is still baffling because the MMA character that Shayna does, well, it's not really a character at all. That's her background, and she feels legit and brilliant because of it. She had an unbelievable run once again in NXT, and it's been, again, so underwhelming on the main roster. Becky Lynch recently stated that she suggested that she lose to Shayna at WrestleMania. We all thought that was going to happen in the same way that I guess we thought Rhea Ripley was going to beat Charlotte. And neither of those things happened. And I'd like to say I can't believe it, but it's just another one of those stories now, isn't it? Shayna Baszler, to me, feels legit. And I loved her work in NXT. I think she's literally one of the best heels in the world. She is detestable. And she was cutting great promos. She bit Becky Lynch's bloody head off. It seemed like really WWE were ready to invest in her on Monday Night Raw. But Vince, again, doesn't get it. And I'm trying to find a positive here, but it really doesn't feel like there is one. I assumed that maybe she'd been off TV due to coronavirus related reasons. Maybe she didn't want to go to the tapings given the situation. But no, apparently they don't want to use her, and they'd rather use Natalya moving forward instead or something. I just think it's such a shame because you've invested so much time and energy into Shayna Baszler in NXT to the point where she felt like a massive deal, and she's had the rug pulled from under her with the loss at WrestleMania, but that could have, she could have continued to do great things on the main roster. That wasn't the be-all, end-all, but now she's just not on TV. She'll probably be sparingly used moving forward. Maybe Natalya will get her win back. Who knows? It's absolutely gutting because, honestly, Shayna is one of my favourite ex-NXT superstars ever. I think she's so bloody good. Again, hopefully things improve and Vince will see the error of his ways. But until then, enjoy what you're getting, I guess. Next up, in what may be the biggest 180 in the history of everything ever, WWE are now reportedly fining talent if they do not wear masks. So this follows reports from a few weeks ago that stated that WWE didn't want people in the audience, Performance Center and NXT talent, wearing masks, and that Kevin Dunn was not a fan of, I guess, the aesthetic, and he thought that might ruin the look of the TV show or, increase concern about WWE running shows, perhaps. Like if you've got people with masks on, it draws attention to the fact that maybe WWE shouldn't have been running these shows to begin with, which they received a lot of criticism for. But now, complete 180 on that, with fines being dished out if you break the rules. This comes courtesy of Mike Johnson of PW Insider. And the report states, World Wrestling Entertainment informed their staff and roster this afternoon that the company is officially enforcing that protective masks be worn at all times except for talents performing on camera while at TV tapings. Going forward, WWE will be fining those who do not wear masks $500 for their first violation. Anyone who has a second offence of not wearing a mask after that will be fined $1,000. So, big money, and I guess it's just a good thing that Low-Key and Austin Aries aren't in WWE anymore, because they would be bloody kicking off, wouldn't they? Idiots. Next up, we have a bit of an interesting insight into WWE's upcoming TV taping schedule. This is courtesy of Post Wrestling and takes us all the way up to SummerSlam toward the end of August. So, generally speaking, and I'm not going to go through every single one of these dates because there are an awful lot of them and it would be terribly boring of me to do so. However, generally speaking, the plan is for WWE to continue taping 2 episodes of the same show on one day, and then the first episode would air that evening, and the other episode that they tape would air the following week. So they would do 2 episodes of Raw, one would air that evening, the other would air the following Monday. And that's generally the rule speaking moving forward with NXT, SmackDown and Raw. So don't expect to see live WWE TV, the weeklies, anytime soon. Those will all be pre-recorded as we move forward. Obviously, this is all subject to change. If Vince McMahon can get away with doing something live, you've got to believe that he will do it live. But time will tell. July 19th, Extreme Rules. Everything that isn't a cinematic match, like the Swamp match, for example, it's believed will air live from the Performance Center. That's the current plan. And then fast forwarding a little bit, all the way to August 22nd, NXT TakeOver, and August 23rd, SummerSlam. Both of those are believed to also be airing live where possible, if it's not something like a cinematic match, for example. The current plan, it's believed, is for those to happen once again in the Performance Center. But if Vince McMahon can do it in front of an audience, I would suggest that he will do his damnedest to make that happen. So, SummerSlam is likely to be in the Performance Center, but if he can find another venue which will allow him to have a live crowd, I would assume that he would want to do that. But we'll keep you up to date. But yeah, for now, the big story there is that you can't expect to see the weekly shows return to being live anytime soon. And finally, CM Punk has commented on The Undertaker's retirement from professional wrestling. He appeared on The Good Show with Ben Ennis and JD Bunkus, where he said the following: "I don't think he's retired. Come on, that's my reaction. There's no way. This is a guy who can, and most likely will, in my opinion, at least make an entrance every WrestleMania. You know what I mean? They did the whole movie match type thing, as I like to call it, on Backstage on Fox. I like that can add some longevity to his career. I don't see him going anywhere. He's a guy who in recent years has gone away and popped back up, so it's unceremonious to have the documentary where every episode he retired and then unretired, and then at the end of it he says he retired again. So it's part of wrestling now. Terry Funk, Ric Flair, everybody retires and comes back, so selfishly, I think everybody wants to see him come back." And I feel like we've talked about it so much that The Undertaker's retirement, it's not going to happen. Vince McMahon has just discovered a way of using The Undertaker without him actually having to do proper graps for the next 20 years, right? The cinematic matches, I think we're going to see all sorts of dream matches, if you can call them that, at WrestleMania. It wouldn't surprise me if, as well, he has another proper in-ring bout, but Undertaker's not going anywhere. CM Punk's right, isn't he? What a guy. Hope he comes back, eh? That would be great. We could do a news video about it. Anyway, thanks very much. I'm going to get to bed now because it is 4:30 in the morning. But you take care of yourself. Enjoy your weekend. If you are going, with easing of lockdown here in the UK, if you're going to the pub or anything like that, stay safe. And take care of one another and all of that good stuff. I'm waffling. See you in a bit. Snoozy time.